Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Amateur Hour podcast. It is just me here today. My name is Jacob. I'm talking about Manchester United today. They're just talking a little bit about how their season is going so far, but kind of put in perspective what I think the plan is for the season, what I think the plan for the future is, because people like myself have gone a little bit hasty in the heat of passion, let's call it, because when Man United were on that poor run a few weeks ago, having come off poor results against the likes of Astana, Aston Villa, Sheffield, I think there was a little bit of over-criticism towards Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that moment. And he's rectified the ship after that poor run of form with a win against Tottenham, a win against City at the Etihad, and also a 4-0 win against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League to make sure that we won the Europa League group and we progressed to the round of 32. What I'm going to say is that I was one who was critical, thinking that Solskjaer should have been fired because Pochettino was available. But I'm not sure. I think Pochettino would do a great job for United. I'm quite sure of it, actually. But what I'll say is that I think United fans like myself have to recognize that this is a rebuild year. And I said this at the start of the season, that this was a rebuild year. And that we should be patient. If the results may not come, but we have to understand that the future is looking better and better. And under Solskjaer, he's playing a lot of youth players, and it's going very well right now. But in the heat, I was very upset with the results, especially against Astana and Aston Villa. In that moment, I just kind of I let my emotions for the team and my passion for the team I got let go a little bit in that scenario. And I said that he should have fired Solskjaer. I kind of regret saying that, and I think we need to recognize as fans that United is in that transitional period, and it's looking very good right now. Mason Greenwood has scored 6 goals this season for Manchester United, which is more than the likes of Alexis Sanchez ever scored for United, Memphis Depay, Radamel Falcao, and Angel Di Maria. Sanchez scored 5, Depay had 5, Falcao had 4, and Angel Di Maria had 3. All in their entire Man United careers. And Mason Greenwood already has 6. And I know those guys fought for United, but those are big names who did not perform. And we have guys like Mason Greenwood, who is only, has he just turned 18, I believe, who is already got 6 for United. And honestly, I like watching Mason Greenwood play for United. He is 18 years old, just turned 18 in October. I like watching him play. The way he finishes is, I would say, my favorite way of scoring. He gets it just to the left side of the net or to the right side of the net, cuts in, and then fires it bottom corner near post. It's very effective. Just quick cut in, and then shoots it right the near post, through the defender's legs. It could be, or just fires it near post. And he's done it to great avail for a few of his goals at least. He did it against AZ Alkmaar the other day, and he was very impressive throughout the game. He got Europa League Player of the Week at 18 years old. And players like him, this is what we're creating this season. This is what Solskjaer is creating this season. Marcus Rashford is going to have the most prolific year of his career. He's 4th in the Premier League in goals with 10. He was 4th coming into this weekend. I'm not sure if he got surpassed, but 10th. He's 1 behind Aubameyang for 3rd, playing phenomenally. And I think a lot of it right now is down to him playing on the wing. I've been a big advocate that Marcus Rashford, his future, or the near future, the foreseeable future, where he's going to have the most success on the wing, because he's great when he gets the ball to his feet, facing the goal, and he can take on players. He's so skillful, he's so fast, taking on players, getting to the box late. But making that initial run and holding up the play is not his style of play. So I think the wing is best suited for him at the moment. I'm not sure if that's going to be for his whole career. He's going to be better on the wing, but for the foreseeable future, this season, he's got to be playing on the wing. And again, young players like Rashford, I believe he's 22. This is what we're constructing at the moment. I know there's a lot of holes to fill. I know that Andreas Pereira is not great, and I think we need to replace him. But we can't, as fans, I can't get too critical of the results because of the team that we have. But I was an advocate that Solskjaer should have been fired a couple weeks ago, but now I'm switching up, and it's not just because of the form switch. Maybe had we not gotten wins out of the last 3 games either, even though we won all 3, maybe it would have said differently. But I think this little run has made me understand that this is the rebuild that we need. We needed a transitional year. We don't need to buy stars. We need to buy younger talent like Bruno Fernandes, who are going to build and progress with the club. These guys are the guys that are getting better, not the guys that are already at their plateau, at their peak. We need to be getting younger players. I think the Maguire sign is good, even though he's not like a super young player. But guys like Wan-Bissaka, which was a quality sign. Guys like Dan James. Dan James has been a revelation. He's surpassed. He's blown my expectations out of the water. I thought he would be, maybe a super sub. You come in for 10 minutes. He just has a bit of pace. But no, quality player on the ball. Great pace. I mean, unbelievable pace. And he's decent at putting a cross in. And he gets a couple goals. I think he's got a lot of learning to do. And I think he's going to grow into the role a little bit more. But, he had a chance against Man City when it was 0-0. He was basically had a clear shot on goal at Ederson, and he fired it right at him. Just the moment got the better of him in that scenario. And that kind of stuff will come with age and will come with playing for Man United more often. I mean, he's been playing every game right now, and he should be. He's a quality player. Every Premier League game he's been playing. But, guys like him, guys like Rashford, I think Martial still has a lot to do to reach his potential, but I think he can get to near that potential that he has. And guys like Scott McTominay, Scott McTominay is probably like 23 years old. Players like him. These are the kind of players that we need to grow with the club, grow into the culture of Man United, to get back the winning culture that we had a decade ago. And I think that players like Scott McTominay, Marcus Rashford, Dan James, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, these kind of players are going to be able to get us back to that winning culture. I think Mason Greenwood as well is another player. He's quality. I think Mason Greenwood in the next 2 years can become a star. A lot of players thought, but I don't see it with Greenwood. This guy's quality on the ball. He already has a knack for finishing. Wouldn't be the first time that a Man United player has fallen off after a promising start, but I think he has a ton of quality, and he can become a real star for this club. So, again, do not need to go out signing these big name players. A lot of people I see on social media talking about Man United needing to sign a quality striker, but I don't see the point. I think selling Lukaku was a great thing for the club because, well, we got money for him. He wasn't performing for us, but it allowed us to play Martial or Rashford in that number 9 role, and I think Martial fits it well. I think he could be better on the wing as well, but I prefer Rashford to play on the wing. I like Martial at the number 9. And it allows for Martial to get more reps, more minutes up top. And it allows Greenwood to get more reps and minutes up top. Because I think Greenwood, it's just a matter of playing more. And he's going to become better and better and better. He's getting better every time I watch him play. He's growing into his role very well. He's got his first Premier League goal. He got a brace in the Europa League, like I said. Already more goals than the flops like Depay, Sanchez, Falcao, and Di Maria had in their full seasons with United. And I think he's going to continue on that upward trend. So these are the guys we have to build around. I think if anybody needs to get signed, it's a number 10, maybe a center mid. I really like what Fred's been doing right now. Fred's been playing. He's been immense. He was immense in the Man City game, immense in the Tottenham game. And I've been really critical of Fred. And I don't necessarily see him sustaining this kind of form. But I hope that he can continue to play along with McTominay because he seems to play well when he's playing with McTominay. I hope he can get his confidence back, and I think it's coming. But I still think we need some more depth because when McTominay went down, we were struggling. McTominay is a very big player. I think McTominay is captain material in the future for United. I really see him on that trend. I got asked today who I see made as captain in 5 years, and the instant reaction was Scott McTominay because he's got that sort of trait, that leadership trait about him. You can see him just geeing up the lads on the field and constantly getting stuck in. He's constantly a workhorse for 90 minutes, gets stuck in, can win the ball off from your feet, and he's a decent distributor. Obviously, that can improve, and he's been scoring goals too. He gets a goal or two every now and then. So there's some core players here that we can definitely succeed with. The 10 is the biggest priority, I think. I think Bruno Fernandes has to be made a priority. James Maddison's another big one you can look at. I think it'd be tough to get him because Leicester are playing so well right now. But James Maddison this week has come out saying he was a Man United fan when he was younger. So that could have a role to play in it. We could maybe persuade him. But the way Leicester are playing, it wouldn't happen in January. Bruno Fernandes, not exactly sure what his situation is with Sporting at the moment. But maybe we could lure him away in January. Maybe we could get him this summer. But that's one you need to look at. You need to look at 10s because Andreas Pereira is not up to the grade. Personally, I think he should be limited with his minutes off the bench, if any at all, really. Jesse Lingard is so hot and cold, and I know he's been going through a lot right now. He's come out to the media talking about the hardships he's faced in the last little while, but I think he needs to be better. I can see him being a squad player, but I don't think he's good enough to be a starting 11 player, especially given the way he's been playing in the last year. I get that he's been going through a lot, but you have to evaluate from a footballing standpoint at the moment, and I think we can do a lot better at the number 10. We could do with an 8 or a 6, to play alongside McTominay or alongside Fred if Fred continues his form, which I don't necessarily see sustaining for a very long time. But I really hope it does. I'm rooting for Fred. I hope that he can prove all the criticism wrong, especially my criticism. I've been very critical of him. But all in all, we have to be patient. I mean, if we win against Everton tomorrow, we're only 2 points outside of the top 4. And that would be immense for this team because, again, we are on the upward trend. The players are playing better. Rashford's improving. Greenwood's improving. McTominay is constantly improving. Fred has been improving. Maguire can get a little bit better. Lindelof, I'd like to see him play as well as he did last season. I haven't quite seen that level this year, but I think he can get there. Wan-Bissaka has been phenomenal this season. Just immense at right back. I could see him getting in the England squad in the near future, but there is a lot of competition at right back. So maybe it's not the case because he's got to compete with the likes of Alexander-Arnold, Trippier, and Kyle Walker. And I'm very fond of Trippier and Alexander-Arnold. But could see him getting there. He's definitely going to be an England international at some point in his career. And again, all these guys in the upward trend. Recognize, I'm even talking to myself the most here. Recognize that this is going to be a tough year. It's going to be tough to progress far in the Europa League with the teams that are in it, but we definitely have the capability to do it. It's going to be tough to finish top 4 in the Premier League. We have to accept that. But coming up, we've got Everton in the league, we've got Watford in the league, Newcastle, and Burnley. 4 games that are winnable. Again, like some of these teams give you problems, but winnable games, especially the game at Turf Moor. That's going to be tough. And we've lost to Newcastle this season. But hopefully we can pull out a result against Everton, get the 3 points to put us on, I believe it's 27, which is 2 points behind Chelsea's 29. It is indeed. When Chelsea lost 2 in a row, so maybe we can do some damage to catch up to them. But we should be able to beat Everton. I know they have Duncan Ferguson, but I'm expecting, or I don't know if I'm expecting, but they should win that game on paper. Hopefully that comes off. Then we get Colchester in the quarterfinal of the League Cup midweek. Again, you hope Man United can come through at Old Trafford and beat Colchester. We've had some issues with some lower league opposition, but should be able to pull through. I'm sure some youngsters that can play in that game. I'd like to see a little bit more out of Tahith Chong when he plays. I think he's got the characteristics to be a good player and the traits to be a good player, but he hasn't shown it in his opportunities, unfortunately, this season, which I was really hoping he would. And Angel Gomes, I think, can take another step up. I think he's another one that just hasn't been quite good enough for me when he comes onto the field. But again, a plethora of young talent to work around, a great core already set in place with Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, McTominay, Dan James, and Rashford, even if you want to throw Martial in that, but a great core to work with, upward trend, fill in some little pieces around these players, and I think this could be a quality team in a few years based on the age of a lot of these players. I really don't want a big money number 9 signing because it would just take away time from Martial, and it would take away time from Rashford because he'd have to split with Martial on the wing, and it would take away a lot of time from Mason Greenwood. And I think you got to build around these players and signing players that that limit their minutes is a problem. You want to spend money, you got to spend it in the midfield. You got to spend it on a 10, and you got to spend it on either an 8 or a 6. Just somebody to sit behind that 10, especially if Pogba is leaving in the near future. I haven't really talked about him because I'm expecting that he's going to be out the door at some point in the next 12 months, unfortunately, or in the next 8 months, unfortunately. But definitely build around this core. Maybe even get a high-quality center back to have Lindelof as your backup. Put the new center back alongside Maguire. And we need a left back. It's really a left back, a center back, number 10, a holding mid, and then maybe if you can to get a winger. But, I mean, that's asking for a lot. But those are the big four that you need. You could even do without a center back. But a left back is needed, a 10, and then the holding mid. And I think you've got a pretty good squad to work with. Not one that can challenge for the league, but that's a promising squad. That's a top 4 capable team. Not shooing for top 4, but they could battle for that. And if those players fit the mold of the club, the culture of the club, and they fit what we're trying to achieve, what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to achieve, because this man wants nothing more than the success for Manchester United. And you can feel that. And I'm sure the players can sense that off him. I think he's the right man for the job at the moment. We're rebuilding. He's getting youth players in. Just patience. Patience, and we got to wait for that product to come to fruition. And I think it can in the next few years. And I'm very excited for the future of this club at the moment. I think Ed Woodward needs to go still, but if Solskjaer gets the funding and can buy his players in the summer, I can see us progressing and continuously progressing. That'll end this episode. Final thing, again, patience with Manchester United. If you like the episode, you can follow on Spotify. You can subscribe on YouTube at Amateur Sports. If you want to follow on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Amateur PDC. You can follow there. You can suggest new episode topics. And as usual, keep coming back for the daily content.